Sheffield United was really interested on me. I needed to play, and that's why I was looking for something different. A few clubs in Italy called me, but my desire was to stay in England.
Yeah, you obviously scored against Sheffield Wednesday. That's probably the thing that Sheffield United fans will remember you most.
I remember coming in and all the fans, and you could feel that it was something different in this game. Scoring this goal and celebrating, and everything was very quick. All the boys coming to me and hugging me and celebrating. It was something that I will remember obviously forever, and great memory. �11𝗕 𝗚𝗿, Kyle Walker breaking through in the first team, 𝗵𝗲𝗕. It was very demanding on the physical aspect, and I remember the session were so intense. It was a really, really tough moment, and in this kind of moment you don't realize what is gonna happen next. All I remember was everybody sitting on the floor and try to find a reason why we didn't make it, and a lot of people crying, going to the toilet and trying and crying on their own. I remember it was incredible atmosphere, and was so loud. Was one of the loudest pitch in the championship, and when you play there as an opponent, you understand how much passion and how much they really are inside the club, and they really feel for the club, and they really push the club as a 12th man on the grass.
Joining me now is a former Blade who, despite only making a handful of appearances for the club, is still remembered well thanks to scoring a goal in the Steel City derby. He played for the likes of Arsenal, Fiorentina, Derby County and Norwich City, and of course wore the red and white of Sheffield United. Arturo Lupoli, great to have you with us. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for your to invite me, and I'm very well, thank you.
Good stuff. So your footballing journey began in your native Italy with Parma, but how did the move to Arsenal come about, and how did they spot you? And obviously the transition from pizza and pasta to fish and chips must have been really strange.
Yeah, I remember those years very well, and I was playing for the Parma youth team, and I was in my hometown, and really enjoy my football as a youth level, and after a couple of really good season, some people starting to approach me, and obviously I was just 16 years old, played for the national team under 17, so I know that they came to watch me during the period in Parma, and also with the national team in the European Championship we played in Portugal, and you know, they show interest on me, and it was good. And those years for Parma were really tough, as they went through financial problems, so the Parmalat crash, so it was the time to change and to leave Parma, and it was a tough decision for some point, but in the other hands, it was a easy one, because when a great team like Arsenal calls you have to answer. So it was 2004 where I moved to London, and I went straight to the first team pre-season camp in Austria. So I remember it was so much difference between the youth system environment here in Parma and going to the first team, and obviously the training and the approach of every training session was very demanding, and the Arsenal was just they just won the championship the year before with the Invincibles side. So for me, it was very, very high standard to step in. And I really enjoyed my 2 years in Arsenal, where I get to know and to train with many great players, like obviously Thierry Henry, Robert Pires, 𝗵𝗵 𝗚𝗿 and Patrick Vieira, and all the young players like Cesc Fabregas and Matthew Flamini and the guy Clichy, all these kind of Philippe Senderos that I still have a great relation with them, and it's good to have a chat sometime. And yeah, I really enjoyed those 2 years. I made my debut in the Premier League, in the FA Cup, in the Carling Cup, and then I went a few times on the bench for the Champions League games, also in Madrid when we won away 1-0 with the Thierry Henry screamer. And yeah, those years were really, really good. I saw many different things. I learned so much, and I was playing regularly in the reserve team and enjoying scoring and playing with Nicolas Bendtner up front, which was a really funny guy. And after this, I came to the third year and last of my contract, and I had that talk with Arsene Wenger that was quite good, and he told me that for me the best option would have been to go on loan and get some regular first team matches. So a few clubs from the championship, they ask for me, and they take some information, and according to with the Arsenal and with Wenger and with Liam Brady, that was at that time the youth system area. They advised me to go to Derby, where they thought it was the best environment and the best club and the best situation for me to play and get some games at senior level. So I remember this year with Derby as one of the greatest and the most enjoyable, as we went for a good run in the league, and we did well this season, and I scored a few goals. I made a hat-trick in the FA Cup against the Wrexham at home, which was quite a fantastic moment. And then we reached the last part of the season, playing the playoff, going to Wembley, and then going to the Premier League with them. It was really, really a great thing, and good feelings, and playing in Wembley with so many Derby fans as well. And it was good. It was good. I actually didn't play the final because I already signed a pre-contract with Fiorentina, so it was quite a strange situation to go through. But I was really happy and part of the squad, and enjoy my 34, 35 games, and it was a first step into the real football, which made me growing a lot during this season.
Yeah, absolutely. The way that you're talking about Derby, it sounds like you really, really enjoyed your time there. And you also got to a playoff final with Sheffield United as well, which is what we're going to touch on in a moment. But I just wondered, how did you end up at Sheffield United? Because you ended up being one of Kevin Blackwell's signings. And to me, that doesn't feel like a great fit. Kevin Blackwell was certainly a very, I won't say long ball team, but very direct team. And that doesn't, to me, you might say differently, but that doesn't to me seem like your sort of game. How did it come about coming to Sheffield United?
Well, I remember I was with Norwich City, and we had a tough time there, fighting for relegation, and I played 16, 17 games, scoring 5 or 6 goals, and also in the FA Cup. And in December, Glenn Roeder was sacked from the club, and there was a few problems, and obviously for the player on loan, it was much difficult to get regularly in the first team and playing regularly many games that I needed to play, and that's why I was looking for something different. A few clubs in Italy called me, but my desire was to stay in England, where I felt it was the best football and the best things for me. And was 2 or 3 days from the closing of the window of market in January, and I received this call from an agent, English British agent, that told me that Sheffield United was really interested on me, and but we have to sort it out the financial part and the deal, and also to call Fiorentina to make a new deal for a new loan. So it was quite complicated to change club, to change team in the January transfer market. But Sheffield United was third or fourth in the league. They were doing a great. They were having a great season, and we played 1 month earlier with Norwich at Sheffield. So I was impressed by the strength of the size and the players and the environment. Playing in the Bramall Lane was really good. And as you said, it wasn't maybe the best fitting, like to playing a little bit more direct and to starting to play more with my qualities. But you know, I made this decision, and I think it was a good one, because I went inside a great environment, and it was a lot of. I remember a lot of good players in this team.
Yeah.
Like obviously Craig Alfer, Kyle Walker breaking through in the first team, Billy Sharp, Jamie Vardy was many of them that I still remember with as a great player.
Yeah, there was a couple of other players. I thought the first player you were actually going to mention was Lee Hendrie, because Lee Hendrie was. Everybody talked about Lee Hendrie and how good Lee Hendrie was. He didn't obviously have a great Sheffield United career. Again, I've heard stories about the fact that Lee Hendrie and the likes of Lee Hendrie, Brian Howard, these sorts of technical footballers were a little bit wasted in the Kevin Blackwell system.
Yeah, that's true. There were a few players with great qualities, but obviously, at that time, the demanding was a lot of physical demanding and a lot of direct ball. So I remember Billy Sharp and obviously Jamie Vardy. They were more like me, more technical, more trying to play short passes and trying to reach the final fourth with a lot of combination, and that was a little bit different. So we have to adapt. But the goal and the objective was so big that we had to win the league and trying to get promoted, that everybody tried to give their support and their contribute to the cause, which was we almost made it, but it was anyway. It was a good group of players going the same direction. I remember like this.
What was the atmosphere like at Bramall Lane? What do you remember from the fans, Bramall Lane itself? What do you remember from your time kind of playing your football on the grass at Bramall Lane?
I remember it was incredible atmosphere, and was so loud. Was one of the loudest pitch in the championship, and when you play there as an opponent, you understand how much passion and how much they really are inside the club, and they really feel for the club, and they really push the club as a 12th man on the grass. So it really was incredible for me to play there, and to make my debut in a derby like with the Sheffield Wednesday. And I remember always the full stadium, no empty seat, and the atmosphere was great. It reminds me a little bit of the Highbury atmosphere there, which I played in. But maybe louder, because Highbury was amazing, but Sheffield fans are really, really inside and really passionate about the team. So
yeah,
it was great.
It's probably quite a more enclosed ground, because it's a bit smaller than obviously Highbury was. Yeah, you obviously scored against Sheffield Wednesday. We'll touch on that. That's probably the thing that Sheffield United fans will remember you most for. You scored against Sheffield Wednesday, and actually scored against Barnsley as well, which are obviously two South Yorkshire teams that you scored against. We didn't win against Sheffield Wednesday, but I still want to hear all about that goal and how it felt when the ball hit the back of the net.
Yeah, it was all very quick, and I think I didn't expect to start this game, because I was there from maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and but I get straight away to start in the starting 11, and I remember coming in and all the fans, and you could feel that it was something different in this game, and was a lot of perspective from us, and scoring this goal and celebrating, and everything was very quick and very straight. So I remember the great feeling, and all the boys coming to me and hugging me and celebrating. It was something that I will remember obviously forever, and great memory.
Yeah, absolutely, because every Sheffield United fan grows up wishing that they could play on Bramall Lane and score in a Steel City derby, and obviously you were able to do that. So that's a big feather in your cap. We then went on a really good run despite that defeat against Sheffield Wednesday, and we got to the playoff final. Is there any sort of anecdotes that you remember from that run-in, or the semi-final win, or even the final, even though it was a little bit disappointing?
Yeah, I remember every game. I remember all the preparation that we had, and we went for a training camp before the playoff in Malta, which was great to have training every day and stay together and make the group really united. So I think it was everything was good until the final, and we knew that we were going to play a tough game, and maybe a detail would have decided this game. So we were so positive, and we were so sure that we wouldn't make it. And when you go to a final, it's really up to a small detail, and something that goes in one way to the other. And I remember many people crying after the game, me also,
Maybe me as well,
and other players, and all the fans. Is the worst part is to see the fans, very quiet, and realizing that we didn't make it, and that was the biggest hit, and the thing that hurt you more when you finish a game like this.
Yeah. One big question that I've got is that what was the feeling like in the dressing room afterwards? Because I remember Kevin Blackwell doing a bit of an emotional interview afterwards, and it almost sounded like he was going to sort of hand his notice in and resign. Obviously, it's a really disappointing day and disappointing moment for everyone. But what was the feeling like in the dressing room afterwards, given sort of that interview and the fact that he actually, I think he came back for one game the season after and then left again. So it was a really odd moment, and I just wondered what was the feeling like in the dressing room.
Well, it was a really tough moment, and in this kind of moment, you don't realize what is going to happen next. So your head is full of this negative emotion, and you want to go through, and you want to think about something good that will happen next. But during this moment, you just can't, and you just want to be on your own, and live in this moment, and and obviously there are a lot of things that you beat yourself up, and you think of what you could have done better or different, and which could have made this day different for us and for the fans. So it's such a difficult moment, and all I remember was everybody sitting on the floor and try to find a reason why we didn't make it, and a lot of people crying, going to the toilet, and trying and crying on their own, and I remember the hugging from the staff, and Kevin Blackwell came to the dressing room and hugged each one of us, and saying that we did the best, we did everything we could. So
yeah,
I really appreciate this from him. And after, I know that he didn't know what to do about his future, and as you said, maybe at this time it was a little bit of confusion, and that's it.
yeah. Fair enough. That's completely understandable. What was it like to work with Kevin Blackwell? Because as I alluded to earlier, that his style of football, and we've actually, believe it or not, we've interviewed Kevin Blackwell on this channel as well. We've spoken to him ourselves, and a lot of people have differing opinions of Kevin Blackwell's sort of training regimes. Some Nick Montgomery spoke about him absolutely loving it, and Nick Montgomery was obviously a very fit lad. But then there was other players that didn't like his style as much. How did you see his kind of training regimes?
Well, as you said, it was very demanding on the physical aspect, and I remember the session were so intense, and was a lot of intensity, and it demands a lot from the player. Everybody has to be on 100% fit, and physical condition. He used to push us a lot in the gym. We used to do also some boxing practice to make us fitter, and I remember it was in this kind of football, in his idea, it was a good coach. Obviously, when you take someone like him, you have to know that his football is in this direction. That's why it's so important that all the decisions are taken in accord to the club and accord to the manager about the players, because every manager has his own football style and his own ideas and his own experience. So I think there is not right or wrong, but there is just a different way to approach and to play football. Also, in these years, 2008, 2009, it was still approaching the new era of football, the new way of playing, of the more possession, more tiki-taka, more positional playing rather than direct and transition. So I think it was the last 2 or 3 years where those kind of manager, maybe they have more impact on the English football, and that's why I think to coming that close to winning the promotion, we still have to say that he was a manager that almost made it. So we have to give him all the respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with that. Who would you say you were closest to in the dressing room?
Well, I think Norton.
Yeah, Cal Norton. Yeah, Sheffield
Kyle
lad.
Norton was the closest to me, and obviously Kyle Norton with Kyle Walker was very close. So we were always together, and always Jimmy Ward, he was someone I was close to, but there were so many good guys, but those one there were the one who I was more close to.
Yeah, you've brought up Kyle Walker. Let's talk about Kyle Walker for a second. Did you ever expect Kyle Walker's career to you know, go to the heights of what it is. Obviously, we all knew that he had it in his locker. He had all the attributes. Did you expect him to be a Champions League winner, winning multiple Premier League titles?
Well, at that time, it was hard to see those kind of career about him.
Yeah.
But you could see for sure that he was so determined and he had so much willpower and so many physical attribute, and that you can tell that a player like him, he had everything to play football at the highest level. That's what I was seeing. But obviously, to break through the first team and playing the playoff and the final as almost the debutants, it was incredible. And another thing that he had, he was very confident and very sure about his potential, and I think this is a big part of his strength. And but as you said, thinking about a career like this, it was a little bit of a dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it must have been great to play with him. But looking back, you've played with some, I wouldn't say better players, but some world-class players in Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, those sorts of players. So, yeah, I get that Kyle Walker is just another one of those players that you've played with that made it to the top. Obviously, you seem to have enjoyed your career in England.
Yeah, well, I spent 4 years in England, and then all the rest it was in Italy, apart from 6 months in Budapest with the 𝗚𝗏. I think Italian football is completely different to the English one, but it's not just about the technical and the tactical side, but also the approach and the mentality of the people inside football, coaches, chairman, director. Everything is different, and so. As I finish my football career, I can tell that the English style and the English environment, obviously, it was the one that I enjoyed the most, and I really like the way they approach the training session, the games, and everything was lived in a different way. In Italy, it's obviously different, and they talk a lot more about football during the weeks. There are many newspaper, many TV show every day talking about football, and I think all this makes football a little bit more serious and heavier than what it should be, especially for the fans side that have to go to the stadium, enjoy the game, and support their team and be happy if they win, and try to support the team when they lose and when things don't go well. In Italy, everything is a little bit too much. But obviously, as I played many years in Italy, I enjoyed also my time here and in many clubs. I remember Ascoli in Serie B, and obviously Frosinone in Serie B when we made the promotion to Serie A. And there has been some good experience, also some bad ones, some injury with my 2 operation in my ankle that really give me a lot of problem during my career. But I think everything come for a reason, and when I arrived to the end of my career, I realized that every situation and every experience give me something. And I ended playing at 34, so I was quite young still, but I was quite sure and quite I had clarity in my mind on what I wanted to do, and I think all my experience gave me something that now I'm putting inside the coaching pathways, and that's really good for me, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, talking about the coaching, let's touch on that for a moment. What are you up to these days? And what is next for Arturo Lupoli?
Well, obviously I did all my badges and my courses for from 𝗚𝗏𝗹𝗹, 𝗚𝗏𝗵 and 𝗚𝗏𝗐. Now I will do the 𝗚𝗏 Pro lesson, which is the last step for a football coach, which will give me the opportunity to coach at the highest level. But obviously, I need to do my step in football, because it's a totally different job than when I used to play. So I started in Monza 3 years ago as a assistant coach in the under 18, and I learned a lot from that experience. And I was very close to the first team, as �11𝗵 𝗚𝗵 was the coach of the first team, and we used to play together, and I got to see many training sessions and games, and learning so many good things from him. And then the year after Monza, I decided to come back to my home club, where I had a call from the sports director, Mattia Notari, which gave me the opportunity to start in coaching the under 18 teams, and obviously I came back to all my environment. I find many people from my time in Parma, so it was great to come back where it all started for me, back in 1997, which was my first year as a 10 years old kid. So I really enjoy this situation, this experience, and learning a lot from many coaching and many situations, and that's great because I really like it. It's good to stay in the same environment where I grow, where I spend most part of my life. So when you come to the end of your football career, you understand that what you want to do when you finish, and when you realize that you want to stay inside the football, and because it's the thing that makes you wake up in the morning and feel great and be grateful for what you do. It's the best thing, and obviously I looking forward for what it will come next, and obviously we'll see what happen in the future for me, and for something maybe back in England, but we will see.
Ooh, that would be very, very exciting to see you back in England. But thank you very much for joining me today, Arturo. I really enjoyed speaking to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
𝗚𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗹𝗵